Hey mask nerds, welcome back to another mask review video. I got a whole bunch of masks to talk about today. Also be covering some important topics. Top of the list is why I wear a KF94, and I think you should too.
That is Aaron Collins, a self-professed mask nerd who has been helping YouTube viewers with his mask reviews. It started not long after the pandemic did. He has an engineering and aerosol science background, and he's joining us right now on our Sunday Spotlight. Aaron, thank you so much for being with us. I know there are so many options out there for people. I have a few of them here. We have just this regular surgical mask. We have this one, which is a KN95. We have this one, which is totally different, which is a KF94. There's so many choices. There's so many different masks out there. So what is it that you try to do to help break them down?
Yeah, I think, in general, what we can start with is a good mask is one that's on your face. So I always like to say that first. But in general, what we see is different levels of protection. So the classic, cloth mask that we started with, these are offering between 30 and 50% protection. And you can get a good face seal and they're pretty comfortable, but again, they lack that protection. And then the surgical masks that, the blue square or all very ubiquitous mask, they have the filtration. They actually have what's called melt blown polypropylene in here. It's electrostatically charged, so it basically like sucks the particles to it. It's pretty cool stuff. This mask though has good filtration, but the fit on the surgical mask where they have gaps on the side or they don't seal well to your face doesn't really give you that much protection. Maybe more about 70, maybe to 80% protection if you can get a really good tight fit. Then you get introduced to the sort of first level of what are technically called respirators. I like to call them high filtration masks or protective masks. And those are the ones that you had. Those are, the classic KN95, and that's a Chinese mask test standard. And then there's also a Korean test standard, the KF94. There's some slight difference, in terms of quality that we've seen come out of KN95s. The KN95 is just a test standard. The KF94 is actually a test standard, and it's a regulated product by the Korean FDA. So they actually have regulation around it. And then, of course, there's the one that we've been hearing a lot about lately, which is or maybe not as much, but I'd like to hear more about it, the N95. And really what we're looking at is these masks all feature high filtration media inside of it. And so in practice at regular breathing rates, and for what we're talking about in terms of COVID aerosols, they can filter typically around 99% actually in the filter media. So it all comes about face seal. Because when we talk about masks, we talked about, again, fit, filtration, which these have, but then it's about fit. How well does it fit to your face? Does it conform to it? And so what we're talking about is basically respirator standards. The big differences that you can get with an N95, the big differences between a KN95, KF94, and an N95 is that N95s feature headbands. These can be a little harder to get on, but the headbands do pull tighter to the face, improving that fit. Still need to make sure the mask fits to your face well, but the extra tension of the headbands. And then KF94s and KN95s, they feature ear loops. So again, they got the media, but the ear loop's not as tight. So you're going to sacrifice a little bit of comfort for a little bit of protection.
How much of an issue is where you buy your mask? Because I know one of the things you talk about, and I've watched some of your videos, and they're so interesting and so complex, but it's important where you get it because you want to make sure you get the genuine article.
Yeah, that's right. And so we've seen some data coming, or some from other people that are testing and some of my own tests, that there are fakes prevalent on sites like Amazon and eBay. And that's because there's really not a lot of validation or vetting of KN95s, right? So again, it's a mask test standard. There's no one that's actually checking the work of them. So they could say, yeah, my mask meets the standard, but no one actually checks it, and you need specialty equipment. So what I recommend is buying from good quality sources. One that I really like, Project N95. They have N95s, they have KN95s, they have KF94s. They're vetting all their suppliers. That's a great option. Otherwise, big box retailers. Home Depot carries a lot of 3M masks. They carry masks like this, the cup style. They have the Aurora series, which are great. And so big box retailers are also a good option. If you do want to go online, of course, there's a weird thing. If you like KF94s, they come from Korean beauty suppliers. And that's because they were importing Korean beauty supplies before the pandemic, and then they started importing KF94s. But if you can make sure your KF94 comes from South Korea, it's imported from South Korea, they're really a high quality option as well.
And I know that's the one I'm holding here. That's what you recommend to a lot of people. So let me ask you this question. How often do you have to replace these masks? I know I'm guilty of having one thrown in my car, and if I go into a place that I need it, I throw it on. So should I be doing that, or should I be throwing them away every time?
Well, that's a good question. So I did some work, did some tests to characterize how long you can wear like a KF94. And I found that after 40 hours of wearing, that the filter media inside the mask really had not changed very much. It was still really high performing. What I have found after wearing masks is usually the ear loops and the elastics start to stretch, the mask starts to lose some of its shape. And so my recommendation has been 40 hours, or if the mask doesn't fit your face very well anymore because it's too loose. And that's what I found. N95s, the test data on them, I pulled up a lot of different resources on that in terms of journal articles and stuff. They're rated to 200 milligrams of loading, which it seems like a very sciencey term, but in perspective, I calculated it would take you, hundreds of days to basically overcome the amount of loading that this mask could take if you were in like Shanghai wearing a mask for like 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So they really can do it. So I recommend 40 hours, or if the elastic straps start to get loose or the mask starts to sting, whichever happens first.
All right, 10 seconds left. What's the biggest misconception you want to correct?
Total wear time, sorry.
Say that again, I'm sorry.
Oh, I said that 40 hours total wear time. So 40 hours on your face.
Give us one misconception about masks you want to correct right now.
Make sure it fits your face. Make sure you're wearing one. Any mask is better than no mask. And try to find vetted suppliers. That's my real recommendation.
All right, Aaron Collins, we appreciate you being with us. If you'd like to check out more of Aaron's mask review videos, all you have to do is head to YouTube and search his name, Aaron Collins. We'll have the link on the Channel 3 app. That is CT22 for this week. CBS Sunday Morning with Jane Pauley is coming up next. Have a great rest of your weekend. We'll meet you back here in Studio A next Sunday morning.